More than 500 years before Oxford University was founded, India's Nalanda University was home to 9 million books and attracted 10,000 students from around the world. The winter morning was cloaked in thick fog. Our car swerved past horse-drawn carriages, a mode of transport still popular in the rural reaches of the eastern Indian state of Bihar, the trotting horses and turbaned coachmen looking like shadowy apparitions in the pearly white mist. After spending a night in the town of Bodh Gaya, the ancient settlement where Lord Buddha is said to have attained enlightenment, I set out that morning for Nalanda, whose red brick ruins are all that remain of one of the greatest centers of learning in the ancient world. Founded in 427 CE, Nalanda is considered the world's first residential university, a sort of medieval Ivy League institution home to 9 million books that attracted 10,000 students from across Eastern and Central Asia. They gathered here to learn medicine, logic, mathematics, and above all Buddhist principles from some of the era's most revered scholars. As the Dalai Lama once stated, the source of all the Buddhist knowledge we have has come from Nalanda. In the more than 7 centuries that Nalanda flourished, there was nothing else like it in the world. The monastic university predates the University of Oxford and Europe's oldest university, Bologna, by more than 500 years. What's more, Nalanda's enlightened approach to philosophy and religion would help shape the culture of Asia long after the university ceased to exist. Interestingly, the monarchs of the Gupta Empire that founded the Buddhist monastic university were devout Hindus, but sympathetic and accepting towards Buddhism and the growing Buddhist intellectual fervor and philosophical writings of the time. The liberal cultural and religious traditions that evolved under their reign would form the core of Nalanda's multidisciplinary academic curriculum, which blended intellectual Buddhism with a higher knowledge in different fields. The ancient Indian medical system of Ayurveda, which is rooted in nature-based healing methods, was widely taught at Nalanda and then migrated to other parts of India via alumni. Other Buddhist institutions drew inspiration from the campus design of open courtyards enclosed by prayer halls and lecture rooms. And the stucco produced here influenced ecclesiastical art in Thailand, and metal art migrated from here to Tibet and the Malayan Peninsula. Considered the father of Indian mathematics, is speculated to have headed the university in the 6th century CE. We believe that Aryabhata was the first to assign 0 as a digit, a revolutionary concept which simplified mathematical computations and helped evolve more complex avenues such as algebra and calculus, said Anuradha Mitra, a Kolkata-based professor of mathematics. Without 0, we wouldn't have computers, she added. He also did pioneering works in extracting square and cubic roots and applications of trigonometrical functions to spherical geometry. He was also the first to attribute radiance of the moon to reflected sunlight. This work would profoundly influence the development of mathematics and astronomy in southern India and across the Arabian Peninsula. The university regularly sent some of its best scholars and professors to places like China, Korea, Japan, Indonesia, and Sri Lanka to propagate Buddhist teachings and philosophy. This ancient cultural exchange program helped spread and shape Buddhism across Asia. The archaeological remains of Nalanda Arano, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. In the 1190s, the university was destroyed by a marauding troop of invaders led by Turco-Afghan military general Bakhtiar Khilji, who sought to extinguish the Buddhist center of knowledge during his conquest of northern and eastern India. The campus was so vast that the fire set on by the attackers is said to have burned for 3 months. Today, the 23-hectare excavated site is likely a mere fraction of the original campus, but ambling through its multitude of monasteries and temples evokes a feeling of what it must have been like to learn at this fabled place. Wandered around the porches and porticos of the monasteries and the shrine chambers of the temples. After slipping through a corridor with lofty red brick walls, I arrived at an inner courtyard of a monastery. The cavernous, rectangular space was dominated by a raised stone platform. This used to be a lecture hall that could sit 300 students, and the platform was the teacher's podium, said Kamla Singh, my local guide, who showed me around the ruins. I went into one of the small rooms that lined the courtyard where students from as far away as Afghanistan lived. Two alcoves facing each other were meant to hold oil lamps and personal belongings, and Singh explained that the small square-shaped hollow near the entrance of the cell served as each student's personal letterbox. Like today's elite universities, admission was tough. Aspiring students needed to engage in a rigorous oral interview with Nalanda's top professors. Those who got lucky were tutored by an eclectic group of professors from different corners of India and collectively operated under the most revered Buddhist masters of the era, such as Dharmapala and Silabhadra. The library's 9 million handwritten, palm leaf manuscripts was the richest repository of Buddhist wisdom in the world, and one of its 3 library buildings was described by Tibetan Buddhist scholar Taranatha as a 9-story building soaring into the clouds. Only a handful of those palm leaf volumes and painted wooden folios survived the fire carried away by fleeing monks. They can be found at Los Angeles County Museum of Art in the U.S. and Yarlung Museum in Tibet,